Hey everyone, welcome back to Fire Emblem 7 Hector Mode Intended Ranks. Before we get started today, a quick PSA on the upload schedule for this run. My original plan was to have one episode a week, every Thursday. That fits well with the rest of my upload schedule, which is a little too cramped to include a second weekly episode. But a fair amount of you found that a little too slow, and I get that. FE7 has a lot of chapters, and with one chapter per week, this would take like half a year. On the other hand, Altissimo and I only have so much time to record together, and as chapters later in the run get longer, 2 chapters every week might not be sustainable. But for the time being, we're ahead of schedule, so let's try 2 videos per week. One on Monday, one on Thursday. Hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, it's Mekka here. Welcome back to Fire Emblem 7 Hector Mode Intended Ranks, Chapter 13x. And while this chapter says defend Merlinus for, I believe, 7 turns, I want to say in a ranked context, maybe the better objective for this would be route chapter in 7 turns. Is that right, Altissimo?
Yeah, basically. There's a few enemies I'm not going to be able to kill here, but for the most part, I do want to kill as many as I can to get as much experience as I can. So that's not a bad way of looking at it.
Yeah, because for this kind of chapter, the tactics rank is just kind of out of the window. You have the freedom to do whatever you want for these 7 turns, but at the same time, in a ranked context, you still have to make the most out of every single turn that you can, so that you don't miss out on experience that you could have gotten, since experience is so precious. Most of the time, I think there's 2 main approaches to this chapter. Either you sit behind Oswin at the bottom choke point, and everyone else gets behind that and just hide for 7 turns and just chill. Or you go all out and farm, depending on what the goals of your playthrough are. Maybe if you're playing 0% growth, you don't need to farm as much. And you might want to kill the boss as soon as possible to stop reinforcements from appearing. I'm assuming that is something you want to actively avoid, killing the boss until the last possible moment.
Yes, correct. First off, since I'm trying not to get too many kills with Marcus, getting up to the boss is going to actually take me a while anyway. So I don't actually pull him until turn 6, and then I kill him on turn 7. Anyway, but yeah, I wouldn't, even if I had gotten up there sooner, I wouldn't have wanted to kill him, just in order to avoid stopping the reinforcements.
Yeah, I believe this chapter has one of the only instances of ambush reinforcements in the bottom right, and maybe even the top left as well. I don't know why that is in the chapter, but I remember my Barcher getting jump scared by one. Have you seen that, the jump scare reinforcements?
Yeah, I have. I don't think they actually mean anything to me in this playthrough, just because of who I have down there. But yeah, I remember watching that video and seeing those brigands appear, and it's like, whoa, okay, FE6 spawns here. What's up with that?
I mean, I guess it does have an FE6 character in Merlinus, maybe that's why it happens. Most people would dump Merlinus down at the bottom, where he's the safest, again, behind the bottom choke point that's easy to defend. Or you keep him in the middle, like I did on my first playthrough, and have a hell of a time defending 3 choke points at once. It looks like you rescue dropped him, but then stopped doing that strategy, and instead just dumped him a little bit to the right, and you're still defending the middle. What's up with that?
Basically, I'm just trying to push everyone up north. I just get one person to defend the western choke point. I just did not have enough units to rescue drop him any further south. Obviously, that would have been a better and more safer place for him. I just did not have the turn economy for that.
Oh, that's interesting. Why does it take so many more actions to do that then? Because I remember you do it like turn 1 with, say, Lowen plus a fighter, and then you're done, right? That's all you need to do?
Is that how you do it? Okay. I mean, I haven't really, I don't think I've ever actually done that in any playthrough. But what I wanted to do with my units to push up north so quickly, I think, everyone's involved here, so.
That makes sense. I mean, I guess when I'm doing it, I have the luxury of using Marcus to one-round enemies on enemy phase at the north part, so I don't have to do as much there. And
right.
I don't have to train all these scrubs down south, so I can just ignore them and have them sit there. Just like you, I usually have Guy and Matthew at the south because they're so good against the brigands, especially when standing in a forest. But everyone else can just kind of do whatever they want. I do like that the left choke point is fairly easy to defend with just one unit, though. Either Oswin or Hector will usually do the job. That's the least threatening part. But the north is the most annoying part, I think, with all the mercenaries and the brigands putting you in awkward weapon triangle situations.
Yeah, for sure. This chapter always annoys me because it, no matter what I do in the chapters leading up to it, it always feels like my units are just barely unable to actually, push through the north in any reasonable manner without, risking chances of death all over the place. I know you're probably supposed to use Marcus for that, and that's fine in a normal playthrough, but I can't do that here as easily, so...
Yeah, I mean, he was allowed to knock down a snag for 0 experience at least, because I'm guessing he's going to go for the village in the top right to get the 5,000 gold. That's like the main reason to even go to this chapter, it feels like sometimes. I don't remember exactly how threatened that village is. I do know that if you don't push for it at all, then it will get destroyed. But if you have someone make either significant progress at the bottom right where Guy is, or have Marcus go where the snag is, I think you can usually catch the time like fairly leniently.
Yeah, it's going to be Marcus. Guy and Matthew get a little have a little trouble down here in the bottom right, so I don't think they were going to lure all those brigands anyway. Guy got hit despite being on a forest, which is the reason Matthew's down here, because normally I would have just left Guy to it and just sent Matthew somewhere else.
I mean, we really cannot complain about Guy's RNG at this point, considering all his Iron Sword trades last chapter, but he did have to use his Killing Edge last turn for the first time, I think.
Yeah, the Killing Edge I do need to use a couple times in this chapter, but there's a reason I give him an Iron Sword, so that I can avoid having to, waste it all the time on this chapter.
Are you finding time to train units that are harder to train than, like, because I think you said previously that the most annoying people to train in this chapter are the ones you want to train the most, so like Rebecca, Bartre, maybe Dorcas, Eliwood, I assume?
Yeah, partially the problem with Eliwood is 2x effectiveness, that the Rapier isn't like able to one-shot the Nomads. I don't know if it would have been able to in 3 times effectiveness, but it certainly doesn't help that it can't do that here, and Eliwood is by no means doubling Nomads. So it's like the one contribution Eliwood can really make here that makes any sense just isn't possible, at least in this version. So that's part of it. The fact that no one can double, and honestly no one can double the Brigands, is annoying. So the best I can do is just have a bunch of units do chip damage, and then someone like Rebecca comes in for the kill. But you see now that I've got Bartre choking the western snag, or at least, I don't know if there's any more enemies coming that way, but that's at least where he's going to hang out.
He's part of the team. Guys, I'm holding off this choke point with imaginary enemies. Yeah, that's cool, Bartre. Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I remember Bartre in this chapter has a chance of getting doubled if he has a base speed. I think Brigands have 3 to 8 or 7 speed, and Bartre has 3 to 4, so that can be a bit dicey. I think he gets nearly one-rounded if he does get doubled. Yeah,
that's one of the reasons I want him to get speed level ups so early on. In this run, my Bartre was unfortunately, well, I'm not going to say unfortunately speed screwed, because what he actually was average. The problem was that in previous ranked runs, I had 2 extremely speed-blessed Bartres. So I was hoping for that luck again, didn't get it. It's an average Bartre, but unfortunately that means trading him is a lot harder in this particular run than it was for me previously.
Yeah, I remember watching 13 again real quick, and I think I saw him get 1 speed level up, then he killed the boss, and he didn't get speed that time. So that would be exactly average, right?
Yeah, but in the past, for instance, I'm pretty sure he had gotten at least 2 speed level ups by that point in some other stuff I was doing.
Bartre, why can't you always be this good? I'm always a little concerned when I see formations like this where Hector and Oswin are out in the open and they're not choking up points, so everyone who is not, far away from the enemies is in danger of getting wrecked by, say, the Nomads. Like, the Nomads, especially in this chapter, are so annoying because they can go almost anywhere. They don't take that much of a penalty from forests, I don't think. And they can also, like, shoot across the water, for instance.
Yeah, this chapter was not very fun to route. There were lots of times where I would just set up something and then people would die. Part of what makes this run not really all that great an example of good play, though, is the fact that sometimes I would just throw a formation, and then if no one died, I'd continue from there. But that doesn't mean it was a good formation. It just means I got lucky with, for instance, crits or misses or whatever it was. Doesn't make it good strategy. One watching, everyone watching, please do not think that anything I'm doing is good strategy. It's absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably safer ways to approach this chapter, but they might involve Marcus doing more work. Like, I think Guy already dodged the chance of death last turn from the ambush reinforcements from the bottom left, or the bottom right. The Brigands are like whatever, but at some point a Nomad spawns, and Matthew and Guy are not well equipped to deal with those, especially when they're on fort.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's part of why Matthew had to come out and help, because sometimes Guy can handle the Nomad by himself if he gets lucky, but not in this case.
Is he like one round and double with the Killing Edge?
He might. I think he might be fast enough for that. I'm trying to remember. He might need a crit, I don't remember for sure. Or he might just have enough strength with the Killing Edge's extra might. I don't remember.
It sounds like something he's borderlining on, depending on the level ups. Someone who was fast enough is Rebecca. She just doubled the Brigand. I'm hoping that wasn't the Steel Axe Brigand, but it probably was.
Probably was. No, I mean, I've been trying to get strength and speed level ups on her where possible, because her base stats are so horrendous that you need them strength and speed in order to be able to do anything, really.
Yeah, another character really hurt by 2x effectiveness. Even if there's no flyers right now, there could be an opportunity to train her more easily later if there were. Like on Wyverns, it's especially noticeable how bad her stats are and how bad 2x effectiveness are. Eliwood looks like we're in a lot of danger here. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, he is in a lot of danger. He should have absolutely died like 6 times over in his last turn. I wish I could have set something up better, but this was really the best way that I could get rid of as many enemies as possible. So I kept it. Again, don't look to me for good strategies.
He's here to farm. I think he took 3x 2 damage from a fast sword. I don't know what is one mercenary attack Marcus over him. I think it might have been like weapon triangle.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was up with that either. There's a couple weird things like that in this run. To remind me when we get to chapter 15 that there's a point where there's a cav in range of the throne that decides to attack Priscilla instead of going for the throne.
Oh yeah. I think I know why that is, so we'll get into that when we're here. We don't have an actual defend point in this chapter. It's just like rescuing, dropping, or just defending Merlinus really, and he seems to be comfy sitting around. I distinctly remember at some point in my runs, I think he moves at one point. I don't know what causes that. Really? Have you ever seen that?
I have not, so that's news to me. Okay.
Maybe it was healing AI after he got hit by a mage or something. That seems like the only enemy type he could survive. It was an enigma. Post in the comments if you ever see Merlinus move in this chapter. I would really like to know what did it.
Alright, so you can see here Marcus is actually doing stuff now. Now that he's gotten the village, he's free to do other things. But I do, like, having him here does help me narrow down these enemies some. So there are cases like this, and it's going to happen in the next chapter as well, where Marcus will just kill some enemies in order to make things easier for the Scrub Squad.
Yeah, I mean, Oswin and Hector are here too, but they can't do every single thing. I remember Marcus specifically... Right. We talked earlier about the scrub strategy of where you rescue someone, and you don't want to do that because then that person cannot do anything that he's holding except weigh Marcus down. But there are enemies that he can weaken without killing them outright. He's not that godly that he just destroys everything. Like if you weigh him down with a hand axe, he only has 10 speed. Some enemies have 7, and then mercenaries he doesn't double. So there's ways for Marcus to contribute without quote-unquote stealing XP.
Right. And Mercs are kind of like the place where I want him to do that, because nobody else is really going to be able to safely attack them or kill them except for maybe Oswin.
7 times over, Eliwood. 8 times over.
Yep.
Yeah, 9 times over.
It was a bad turn. I didn't like it. I didn't like that this was how things went. But
tell me at least he's on a forest, please.
He's not even.
What?
Well, actually, I'm not sure. No, I think he might be, yeah.
I think it looks like he's on the woods from here. Like, especially the nomad is like, Monka-esque, what are you doing out
of
the woods?
Yeah, seriously.
Trying to save Elbert, and here he's just dying out on your own. We also made a Puzan over with Lowen. I'm assuming he can be ganged up on by like 3 people with a lance and he's dead.
Yeah, basically, I think we're about to see, so Lowen hit him last turn, Oswin hits him, and then Lowen kills him. And that's sufficient. And I always want to give that kill to Lowen where possible.
Yeah, is he a good candidate for like long-term training or something? Or
nah, just but having him, yeah, I mean, having a good cav in the early game is nice, for reasons everyone knows.
9 speed, not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. But I've never actually really been like lucky with my Lowens having good combat stats, and especially coming off Lin mode where I have both Kent and Sane. I was about to mess up their names. That are much better. That it's hard to really justify using Lowen long term. But I always try for it because he has the potential to be really good.
So it looks like, this guy's dying too, this Myrmidon, and then there's a Brigand left. I don't know what he's gonna do. Or not die, apparently. He lives. This one guy, he will live.
I couldn't find a way to kill him. He's gonna go home and be like, wow, they massacred everyone in my bandit group except for me.
Alright, well done. That's chapter 13x wrapped up in, 7 turns basically, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!